Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oren Shatz. I'm the CEO of SEO Israel. I've been doing marketing for over 24 years now, from '98. That probably makes me like something like a dinosaur in the digital marketing arena. We're doing SEO, as our name suggests, but we also do a lot of PPC work and a lot of BI analytics. And some of our success partners, we do a lot of interesting stuff. But the first question most people ask me when they come to us and try to build their strategy is, should I invest in doing SEO or should I invest in doing PPC? Now, it's a big question because mostly when you're doing e-commerce, you want to drive sales. You want to drive as much sales as possible. And this is why when you do PPC, the first thing that you measure in order to make sure that you're putting all your money in the right place is ROAS, which is return on ad spend. This is why mostly when you do PPC, you spend most of your money where the money is, which means you get media prices up on product pages. When you try to build, to do shopping campaigns, media prices are very high. And this is why competition is high, and this is why most of the PPC is focused on product pages. This is where, if you understand the user journey, the customer journey, you understand that most PPC campaigns focus the last phase of the user journey, the part where the user actually wants to buy a specific product. But this is not where the user starts his journey most of the time. Sometimes the user will start by reading an article about the whole area or the whole field of the product. Sometimes he will try to look at the category to select the product that actually matches whatever he is looking for. Now, this is exactly where you do not see an immediate ROAS, because sometimes the user will come in, read an article, and not buy immediately. And this is why most of the times PPC will not focus on customers on these phases of the user or the customer journey. And this is where SEO is crucial. If you get to the customer before he's actually buying the product, if you get to him when he's within his customer journey, sometimes you can get him for a fraction of the price, but you get him when he's in the beginning. But you can continue with him along his journey until he will buy directly from you. The second thing I would say about SEO with PPC is, if you do good SEO, you can use the good SEO that you did on your website for your dynamic campaigns, dynamic PPC campaigns. Because dynamic PPC campaigns connect to your website, read the content, and then create customized search ads, this is exactly where good SEO benefits your PPC campaigns. But let's talk about SEO. First of all, we need to understand two basic concepts about SEO and how Google views e-commerce websites. The first subject we need to touch is YMYL. YMYL, initials for your money, your life, is the Google designation for a specific part of the internet that touches directly the user with two main aspects: the user's money and the user's life. If you touch the user, or if you talk about the user's money or the user's health, for example, you are obligated for a much higher levels of trust in order to appear within Google's search. That's because Google is saying, these are areas in which I want to protect my users, so I want to have websites with higher trust levels. How do Google measure trust? First of all, Google measures trust by using three main key factors. The first is expertise. Google is trying to figure out whether the information you provide on the website is an expert's information, which means it is accurate and unbiased. The second one is authoritativeness, which means that the source comes from somebody who has the authority to provide this information. The last one is the most elusive one, trustworthiness. The question is whether the user views the website as a website that can be trusted. Now, when they have, Google employs human testers to examine your website. You do not know that, but they send user testers to examine your website. And what they ask them is a simple question, one of the questions that they ask them. Will you recommend this website for your grandmother? Why is that so? Because when you think about your grandmother or your parents or anybody who is older, you think of them as somebody who needs to be defended, protected against scams or fraud. So if you feel that a website is safe for your grandmother, then it means that it delivered the safe and trustworthy feeling to the customer. Why do users feel that they should trust a website? There are many surveys that were made about websites and e-commerce websites to figure out why users do not put their credit card information into a website. These are the main issues that users feel are a problem. The first is they feel that their credit card might be charged by somebody who is not, or might be taken to another place and might be charged by somebody else who is not the website's owner. The second is fraud. They feel that they can be charged for a product, and the product that they will get is something else than what was advertised. The first one that they said is data privacy. They feel that these days, many of the websites that take our information then report that all of the information was hacked and stolen by unknown hackers and then sold in the black market. And the last is returns. Sometimes they feel that if they buy a product, they wonder whether if the product doesn't match exactly what they were looking for, will they be able to return the product and get the proper refund? This is why what we found we found that there are various key factors that need to be available and very clear on every website, and I'm talking about e-commerce websites. The first is clear policies. Every e-commerce website needs to have terms of use, needs to have a privacy privacy statement, and needs to have a clear return policy. Now, these three policies are separate 3 pages that needs to be within the e-commerce website, and they should be accessed from each and every page on your website, which means you need to place them in the footer or some other link that is available on each one of the pages, including product pages. The second is seals. What we're talking about when we talk about seals is you need to show the customer that the purchase that he's going to do, the information that he's sending is going to be protected, that he's going to be defended, that you're doing whatever is possible, that your site is audited by somebody who is a professional. These seals are seals of approval, which means somebody reviewed your policy, somebody is making sure that the information is safe and that your website cannot be hacked. The second is people. We found that if you have people on your website, especially if it's your own team, if you see that there's somebody human behind the website, it really helps a person connect to the website and makes him trust the website more than it is, than he will do if it is just a website with an anonymous front. I would add that sometimes people just take, stock photography of people and put them on the website. And for example, in Israel, we see a lot of websites having people on them, but they are clearly not Israeli. So sometimes you get the exact opposite of what you're looking for. Contact and support. Because people fear that nobody will talk to them if there are problems, make sure you have a phone number available and preferably additional contact methods like chat and, of course, email support. Social is also always an important part because social means that if you have a Facebook page, a Twitter account, make sure that these links to these social places are available from within the website, because then somebody can go into your Facebook page and see how many followers you have in there. Testimonials and reviews, these are always important. I would add a point on two specific factors. One is, if you have a negative review, don't remove it from your website. Sometimes, if you have too many positive reviews, people will look at it as something that is not natural. If you have I always try to look at the bad reviews first, because this way I know what's the worst situation in which I might find myself. I notice a lot of publishers that see a bad report or a bad review or a review that they feel is not appropriate or something that is not true, and they try to remove it or delete it. Sometimes it will create the exact opposite of what you're looking for. If you remove a review, sometimes that person will go out to somewhere else and start trashing you in a place that you do not control. Start talking about you in a place that you do not have access to. So try to keep all the bad reviews in a place where you can interact with them. Sometimes a bad review can turn into the best customer if you addressed the issues that created the bad review properly. And unique content, well, I think that is very simple. This is why we have to understand that it's been a few years now that Google introduced into their algorithm a new, well, it's not a brand new algorithm already, but it's an AI algorithm that tries to do something very specific. The name of this algorithm is RankBrain, and he's doing one simple thing. He's trying to figure out what is the intent of the user, and on the other side, he's trying to figure out whether a specific web page will have all the important factors that the user of that specific intent is looking for. It might seem very simple, but this is why the first thing to do when you understand that RankBrain is out there and is doing exactly what I was talking about, that means that you need to make your website sometimes a lot more simpler than you might want to make it. Because if your website is simple, the website is clear, the website is easy to understand, it's easy to figure out, for example, this is a product page. It's easy to figure out that this is a category page. It's easy to figure out that this is an article. That means that Google will understand exactly what you have available for each one of these types of users. So keep things simple. Don't try to be over creative. Don't try to create a very unique experience that will make it harder for Google to understand what exactly you're offering on your website. Trust. I gave you a list of things. Make sure that each one of these product pages have all of these trust issues. I know that sometimes it might create problems with your design, but trust is more important sometimes than design. Mixed intent. Understand that users do not always look for the same thing, are not always on the same page within the customer journey. If you want to rank high for a specific keyword or for a key phrase, go to Google, look for that key phrase, and look at the search results page. If all of the results are product pages that are selling that specific product, that means that Google thinks that the intent of people doing this search is buy, buy, buy. But if you see that the page is mixed, you see a price comparison page, you see an article, you see a review, that means that this specific page has a mixed intent. That means that this specific search is not totally buy intent. This specific search might require from you several pages within your website to provide content for every one of these intents. Okay, the next point, which is very important, is product feed. Now, product feed is what your site creates. It's a list of all your products that you then transfer into Google's Merchant Center or into Facebook Business Manager. The problem is that these days, that in the past, these product feeds were only used for paid campaigns. A few months back, Google announced that they will also make product feeds for free product listings. That means if you have an e-commerce website and you're not doing any PPC campaigns, you're not paying any money at all, still it's worthwhile to have a product feed available, and it's worthwhile to put that product feed within Google's Merchant Center. Then you'll be able to apply for the free product listings, which means actually organic results for search for products within your website. This is why product once used to be only within the PPC arena, and these days products are also an organic result. Once you're doing product feeds, you need to make sure that you have what we call a data feed management solution available for you. Data feed management means that you'll be able to take the data from your current e-commerce platform like Shopify or WooCommerce or Magento, and do specific actions on this product feed before you feed it into Google. These actions include doing search and replaces on these product feeds, doing combining of various products. I'll give you a very simple thing that we always do. Sometimes you have a website that sells various brands. Now, once you have that, your product ad will contain, the brand will say, will have the name of your website as the brand. Now, most people, at least in Israel, when they buy a shoe, for example, the first thing that they are interested in is what is the brand of the shoe, not what is your brand or your website. If you connect the brand into the title of the shoe, then you can also say what brand it is and also tell something about the specific shoe. Also translation is something which is very important. You can do translation of various brand names within your product feed, which is something that you sometimes cannot do within your current e-commerce platform. Schemas, these have always been very important. Schemas or schemes are basically what Google needs you to have in order to understand what information is available within your website, is a way to designate and mark specific parts of the page as containing specific types of information. Of course, the most important one for e-commerce website is the product schema. A few weeks back, Google announced that they will use product schemas in order to figure out the information about your products. And even if you do not have a data feed, they will use that information for free shopping ads. This is very important because these free shopping, free product listings are extremely free and extremely effective. The second one is pros and cons. This is a new schema that they just added, which allows you to put in your pros and cons for a product. What's good about the product and what's bad about the product. This is a very important and almost unused schema, very new but very effective. The third is something that they talked about recently. By the way, if you look at all the changes, the algorithmic changes that Google did over the past few months, most of them were talking about reviews. Most of them were talking about products. This is where Google is putting their greatest emphasis during these past few months. And the one which is the most important, as I figure it out, is what they call the editorial product reviews. I think that they figured out that they cannot actually use the regular user product reviews as a basis of trust, and they prefer editorial reviews or professional reviews over the regular reviews. This is why currently they're looking for editorial product reviews that are done by either experts or enthusiasts. These are two groups that they marked as the ones that should do the reviews, and that they will try to give more weight to these specific types of reviews. FAQ. FAQ is very important, and it will become more important for one simple reason. Google and other companies are trying to put in as many personal assistants or virtual assistants as possible. A virtual assistant is one that you talk to using questions or using things that you're interested in. If you have a question that somebody asks a virtual assistant, and that question is available within your website with an answer, that will make it very easy for Google to just take your question and answer and use it for their virtual assistants. Now, in Israel, it's not very common, but in the United States, virtual assistants are becoming more and more prevalent. Now, this means that Siri, Google Virtual Assistant, Alexa, and so on, will take your question and answers and bring them directly to the user when a user asks a specific question. Very important. It will be becoming much more important in the future. And the last one is using schemas for hierarchy. Breadcrumbs are the way Google currently evaluates where a page is located within your website, whether it's a very deep, not interesting page, or maybe a page which is located higher within your page's hierarchy. Basically, if you look at Google, the Google changes over the past few months, Google is targeting e-commerce almost exclusively. All of the changes are talking about reviews updates, the way that what reviews they like, what reviews they do not like, how to move more information from your website to their main shopping pages. And this is exactly why SEO has become, in my opinion, much more important over the past few months for e-commerce websites, hence this talk.